Hi, this is Multi-Topic Talk. Welcome to this new video. Today it's part number 2 of my retrospective on the Flash TV show. Today we cover the downfall. We cover season 3, season 4, and season 5. You know, these days where people were like, the show was still somewhat decent, but it was nowhere near as good as season 1 and 2. It was also before the Eric Wallace era. Anyway, this is my take. This is how I see season 3, 4, and 5. And as I am recording this intro, the show is over. And I will say this, it never really got better. There was a return to form with season 6, but that's it. The show never got back to where it was in season 1 and 2. It's very sad. This is also coming from someone that will defend as much as I can what they tried to do with season 3, 4, 5, and upward. I'm a huge Arrowverse fan. I liked that universe. I was following weekly that universe since it was basically born. Anyway, as usual, just like any other retrospective, we will take a look to viewership and to comment from the audience to see how people received the entire show. Because I don't want to sound like an echo chamber. And also, just to let you know, as this video will be uploaded, my RedBlue Podcast will have covered all 9 seasons. So with that being said, if you want to see more content, Flash related, go take a look at my podcast. Anyway, let's do this. I hope everyone will enjoy. We see the first big drop. Remember, season 1 at around 4 million, season 2 was close to 4 million, but it was still in the 3 million, and now we get Flashpoint season 3 premiere, 3.17 million, which is one of the lowest rated episodes so far. It's followed by a Paradox in here, 2.80 million. So this means a lot of people just tapped out. They were like, oh, Flashpoint is over, why? We should keep watching the show. And this is why when you make a TV show and you adapt something like Flashpoint, you cannot like rush through things the way you did. Here we got a mid-season finale with a 3.14 million, followed by the mid-season premiere with a 2.72 million. Fun fact, Invasion was the big crossover event. It had more viewers, and it's normal. This is why when we will cover later season, we will consider episode 8 instead of 9, because at some point they swap 8 and 9. Penultimate episode for season 3 with a 2.48 million, followed by Finish Line, 3.04 million. Season 4 kickoff with 2.84 million with Flash Reborn, followed by Mixed Signal, which was a terrible episode. This one got a 2.54 million. Don't Run with episode 9, 2.22 million. And the mid-season premiere, 2.51 million. It's no more about 3 million. It stood around 2 million so far with season 3 and 4. So at that point, the show still had viewer, you know? Even if it's nowhere near as great as the first 2 seasons, we still had viewer. The show did hit new lows with Arian the Harrison. And we got Think Fast and We Are the Flash. Think Fast, 1.93 million. We Are the Flash, 2.16 million. Here we go, Season 4. Flash Season 4 takes a huge dip in quality for the show and bringing in one of the worst episodes the show has ever had. I agree. Season 4, 5, and 9 are the seasons that the show really suffered. Thought it was still a good season. Not really. I don't speak that language, so the first one was a 7, the second one is a 10, the third one is a 5, the fourth one is a 7, the fifth one is a 2, and the last one is a 9. It's divided. In the first 6, it's divided. So, Julian says, I think this season is a combination of bad and good. So this season picks up after season 3 when Barry goes into the Speed Force to save Central City. Now Barry has to come out to fight the Tinker. Next up, I thoroughly enjoyed this season, but it feels like it drags on for way too long. I am on board with you, I agree 100%. The villain gets annoying after a while because he is overpowered. I agree. Devil was a pretty good villain, at least up to the end, where they changed his writing and how he operated and made himself pretty pathetic so Barry could beat him. I can see that argument. I've never really thought about that much, but man, I like that point you brought. This is when the show takes a sudden drop in quality. This is coming from a person that gives a 8. Before I move on with this video, I'd like to share you where I am right now with that tier list of all of the episodes. Because I wanted to record this part of the video after watching again episode 18 and 19. Two really bad episodes. So far, these are probably among the worst episodes on TV. Now, the focus here will be on episode 19 because it's obviously the worst of the bunch. Hell yeah. So episode 19 is this low because they did what we call character assassination for the plot to happen. Hell yeah, we do like it, right? So I understand how Iris dying could impact Barry, the other people around Barry, the other people around Iris. I understand. But here's the thing. It's night and day. The Barry from the future doesn't feel like Barry anymore. He feels like a character I don't know. And I will go further with this. It makes no sense. Okay, Iris is important to Barry. I get it. The whole idea of this season is let's save the damsel in distress. Let's save Iris because that's the plot. I get it. But he lost his father. Barry lost his father right before his eyes. After getting his father back, he lost his mother. He lost Eddie. Because we are led to believe Eddie was a good friend to him. He got betrayed. A lot of things happen with season 1 and 2. And guess what? Barry is still Barry. He is just an evolved version of it. Now, present day Barry is also victim. He is also assassinated as a character. That season was all about don't time travel, it's wrong. You can break the timeline, you can make things worse, but yet it still goes in the future. Stay away from time travel. As much as comic book are cool, as much as this power to go in the future is interesting, I think it doesn't make sense for Barry in this season to go in the future like that. What happened when he did Flashpoint? It happened 18 episodes before that. And he time travel again. Yeah. So in this show, characters just cannot grow, they cannot learn because the show wants them to do stuff for the plot to happen. Character need Barry from the future needed to be broken for Barry to reach out to others and regroup Team Flash. It's also filled of plot convenience. Team Flash has been broke apart. They are no more together, but yet they all decided to stay in Central City. What if Julian, HR, went elsewhere in the world? What if Cisco decided, you know what, I move on elsewhere, I have too many nightmares, I have too many sad memories because of Central City, I will move elsewhere. But no. This show need to regroup Team Flash together. I think this episode was worse than Back to Normal, which was a really bad episode in Season 2. Clearly a low point in Season 2. And I think the biggest sin with 18 and 19 this season, this third season, is the pacing. It's so terrible. The dialogue is so awful. I feel like they hired staff just to make these episodes. And that staff never proved itself worthy of making episodes before that point. Because the dialogue are awful. The character, they make no sense. Plot armor on Caitlyn. She basically dies in episode 18 and apparently becoming Killer Frost because healing factor brought her back to life. I will go further with this. What if Julian didn't took away the necklace around Caitlyn? Caitlyn would have died right there on the table. And guess what? If you do that kind of shocking moment, you show your audience you are not scared to kill off your character. But here they really wanted Caitlyn to become Killer Frost because for them it's so important to make Team Flash fight itself. All these hints at who is Savitar? Who is Savitar? Who is Savitar? Who is Savitar? We will never tell you. We just don't do that. We will wait until the very last episode to do so. Now, I remember episode 20 based on the title of it. So, going into it, I know it will be bad. But, at last, they will finally reveal us who the F is Savitar. And to be honest, the mystery wasn't that great. It wasn't. It was just dragged on forever and forever. And that season is really bad. Poorly written. Yeah, it's really hard to watch. Like, individual episodes, sometimes, they are fine. That's why you see that many B, that many A. Uh, individual episodes are fine. They are not as good as season 1 or 2 because obviously most are rock bottom, and we got our first F for failure. Do it. This one, I remember this one, and I skipped it because I knew it was freaking filler. Everyone need to sing. This was one of the worst episodes the show ever aired. It's not because they sing and they do cringe stuff that it's good. Uh, Duet, I skipped it, and it was filler, and that's funny because at the end of episode 16, Barry and Iris kind of broke up. But episode 17, they were brought back together already. Because at the start of the 18th episode, when I've seen it, they were already together again. I was like, what the fuck? They fixed the relationship in a filler episode. My, this was bad. Pacing, bro, pacing. This season, the pacing is so bad. Flashpoint as a storyline could have been 7 episodes. Maybe 6. Maybe 6 because they need to set up Alchemy and Savitar for the back half. But we got Flashpoint with 1 episode. This season is so bad. It's broken. It's broken. That's it. It's broken. Another day, another dollar, another season, another step down. The Flash 3rd season. Sorry, no face cam for this small clip there. It was a really bad season. It was kind of expected. I remember that season being really bad. But here's the thing. There's positive in that. The start of the season was actually decent. It was watchable. The ending in the other end was really bad. It was terrible. It was awful. So, remember when I said I hated Iris in season 1? Well, I hate her in season 3 now. But not for the same reason. I actually hate what they did with her in season 3. Now, Iris doesn't feel like a character anymore. She is just a plot device to drive the story forward. She's like the damsel in distress you need to save. And she's nothing more. She doesn't feel like a character without Barry in her relationship. She barely does something in that season. Man, oh my. Savitar as a villain was really bad. The writing of this season is really bad. The pacing is awful. I will just throw some ideas out there just for you to think about it. What if the Flashpoint storyline was stretched and extended to last 6 episodes instead of 1? Would you have liked it? I think I would have liked it more than what we got. I don't see the point of us rushing into present day with a new present day because of Flashpoint. The idea of Flashpoint changing present was interesting. It was really good. But I wanted to see more of that Flashpoint universe before we just say goodbye and move on to present day, you know? Like, season 1, we had an entire character arc. Well, I should say. The first episode of the 3rd season, we had an entire character arc for Barry Allen. He realized he was a villain. He realized he need some closure with the past to move forward. That was in 1 freaking episode. Pacing issue. You could have stretched on for longer than 1 episode with that kind of storyline if it's handled by a good writer with good scene. The first episode was a letdown because everything went too fast. No puns intended. Characters do stupid stuff throughout the entire season just for the plot to work, just for the plot to progress and move further. Guess what? Trust is important for this superhero TV show. People lie, and that breaks relationship again. I really liked Iris in season 2. She was very interesting and she had a story of her own with her family, her becoming a journalist, a good one, that is willing to risk her own life for an article. But this season, she is just that person that will give pep talk, that will be afraid about the future, and that will be like, people need to move on. Why not me, you know? So this season they really ruined Iris as a character. All she became is Barry's girlfriend. And this is sad. This is very sad. Jesse Quick and Wally becoming Speedster was also very good. But there's the thing, I feel like CW back in the day, they wanted everyone to have a relationship because relationships are so important. Everyone has a girlfriend. Everyone has a boyfriend. Hell yeah, this is what we want. The forced relationship between Wally and Jesse Quick, like, I could get it. They could be good friends, but they didn't add that kind of chemistry. They didn't feel like a couple when they were there on screen. Even freaking Barry and Iris don't feel like a couple. And there's such a emphasis on them and their relationship being so important to the freaking plot. Season 3 was awful. Season 3 was mediocre at time. And Season 3 also had some good moments. Overall, if you take individual episode, you could think Season 3 is fine. But when you look at the bigger picture, this is when things are falling apart. Season 3 is many step backward. Season 3 is not really good or made by good writers. The dialogue of the characters are sometimes really, really awful. Awful. And you feel the 23 episode format of that season. A lot of episodes are fillers. And even worse, they cram important stuff in filler episode like Do It. Remember in episode 16 when Barry and Iris basically broke up at the end? I skipped episode 17 because I knew how bad the musical was. And when I picked up with episode 18, I realized they actually fixed Barry and Iris' relationship in episode 17. So not only episode 17 is a filler, but they cram important stuff in it. That bothered me a lot. Guess what? I skipped episode 21 as well because this is the episode where they decide, these scientists that should be smart, they decide to take away Barry memory so Savitar can't remember. They messed up with someone's brain. And they thought that was a good idea. Oh my, oh my. Then they restore it because they're like, yeah, that was a bad idea. No shit, you just wasted 41 minutes of my time. That's funny because I say that and I actually skipped that episode, but I remembered the plot. I remembered how bad that episode was. That's why I skipped it. But when you think about it, what I say makes sense. Episode 21 is filler from filler since they do something that doesn't affect the story since they fix it by the end of the episode. Nothing happens. And guess what? When I picked up with episode 22 after watching episode 20, I was able to follow everything that was going on. I didn't feel like I missed anything. And guess what? I didn't miss anything. The only good episode was Into the Speed Force. But there's the thing, even that episode had issues here and there. Now, I've just watched all 23 episodes. Well, I should say, I've watched 21 of the 23 because I skipped 2. And I skipped parts of Abracadabra as well, and parts of the episode 19 as well. So I will say I watched 19 of the 23 episodes. So I can't really remember exactly which were the issues I had. But I do think it was, season 3, episode 16, Into the Speed Force, was the best one this season. Even there, I didn't thought it was impressive. Maybe pacing was actually the issue there. But yeah, this season is bad. After taking a look to my juicy tier list, well, actually, I will show you the tier list. So far, I have been filling my tier list. I will scroll up because you miss S and S plus. But as you can see, cause and effect, episode 21, the one where Barry loses his memory because scientist does weird stuff and stupid stuff actually. F for failure because I skipped it. Duet, F for failure. And the only reason why 21 is higher than 17, it's because I actually considered maybe watching, but then I realized no, it's a filler episode, I don't need to. But Duet is actually worse because not only it's a filler, but it's also musical, and they also cram important story parts into a filler episode. And that's wrong when that kind of stuff happens. Now, if you take a look in the Echo tier, we got Power Outage, the worst episode in season 1. And then we got, guess what? Episode 19. The one in Future Flash where they freaking character assassinate Barry Allen in the future and the present day. Hell yeah, this is how we do. Back to normal, worst episode in season 2. Still better than this crap. Abracadabra was better. I guess I was more entertained, and maybe Gypsy was actually interesting. Yeah, actually, yeah, Gypsy maybe made that episode better than Back to Normal. But then we take a look to 20 and 15. I remember why 20 is there. I don't why 15 is there, but I had good reason, I'm sure. But 20. So episode 20, man, they tease you so much. They tease you so much who freaking Savitar is. They spend the entire episode teasing who the F is Savitar. And the reveal is, it's you, Barry. You from the future. Mwahahaha. This is so bad. I'm telling you. This episode was really terrible. So now we got Killer Frost. A very interesting episode I liked. It was also a good follow-up to Shade. And Shade wasn't that amazing, to be honest. Shade felt like a filler, except for like the last 10 minutes where they go after Alchemy. Now, I will admit, Julian and Alchemy were great this season. Killer Frost also was decent, I guess. But, yeah. We see a lot of A rank and A plus. But there's the thing, if you take a look, Season 2 has much more good episode in higher tier. And the same goes for I should say. The same goes for Season 1. So, in my own opinion, right now, Season 3 is a huge step down. It's nowhere near as good as the other seasons, Season 1 and 2. Now, I forgot Season 4. Well, I remember not liking Season 4, but I don't remember why. So, let's just take a look to the upper end. You see, Dead or Alive was a very good episode, but it was still the worst in the S tier so far. And Into the Speed Force is nowhere near as good as Welcome to Earth 2 or Enter Zoom. Enter Zoom, I don't even remember if I had any issues with that episode, but I do remember having issues with Into the Speed Force, even if I don't really remember the exact issues, but I remember liking Enter Zoom a lot. And it feels forced for me to place Into the Speed Force up there. I say that because all of my tier lists, I try my best to place one episode of each season in the S plus. In the Flash case, we have two episodes from the same season that will be let up there. And so far, I do think season 2 will be the one season where I keep two episodes there. That may change if season 9 is amazing, or hell, if I think some episode from later season are actually better than Welcome to Earth 2 or Enter Zoom, I will replace them by said episode. We will see what the future has to tell us. So, Julian was a good addition to the cast, but the dialogue is so bad, the writing is so bad, the pacing is so bad. This season is mediocre at best. Now, just taking a look, I did place a lot of A's, a few S, but overall, I think I was a bit too gentle with that season. So because of that, because of my issues, because the final product of this season is really bad, I think this season deserves probably, that's so hard for me, 6.5 out of 10. Yeah, actually 6.5 out of 10 is fine. I say that because recently I've rewatched Jessica Jones' second season, and I do think Jessica Jones' second season was better than The Flash third season. So, because Jessica Jones was a 7, this one falls short with a 6.5 out of 10. The start of The Flash third season was good, but they missed the mark so hard in so many points and so many ways. They lost the kind of momentum they were building. Another speedster, it's like, yeah, whatever, I guess. More negativity there. 10, 2, 6, 6. Well, actually not 2. This one is more of a 4 out of 10. It's 2 stars, 4 out of 10. This season, including everything that made the show great in season 1 and some. The humor and art were at the core of this awesome season. Not really. Devo could have been a great villain. He had nuance. His chemistry with his wife was great, and I felt I could be emotionally invested in him. But then he suddenly became a joke. Grant Gustin acting is the same as last season, but the writing is getting worse. Villain, story, and almost everything except the humor, mostly. Even the humor, it failed so much for me. First half of the season was good, agreed. The annoying Iris and whining irritated the whole season, I agree. Devo began to jump from body to body, it was stupid. I agree. Next up, season 5. This one is a 7 out of 10. The next one, 8, 7, 10 out of 100. 1 out of 10, in other words. 1 out of 10, that's quite low. 3 out of 10. 3 out of 10. A lot of people were not on board. So first one, The Flash season 5 is better than its 4th season and brings in Nora, one of the best lovable character the show has had. At the same time, it also brings one of the worst villain the show has ever had. Freaking cicada. Slight improvement over the previous season. All thought this is when the Flash suit starts to look like pajamas. I like it. Good comment there. This season is a combination of bad and good. The show should have been ended here in season 5. Action is great and it could have been better. Acting is good, CGI is great. Don't think so. Cicada sucks. He is not a worthy of a villain. I agree. When he first came in, that was a great villain, but he turned into a joke when it was the 10th time he flew away because the plot wants him out of Team Flash crosshairs. The dynamic of the show changed so much for no reason, and this causes lots of the character to be unlikable. Cicada is not worth being the main villain for 20 episodes. Because Cicada 2 is just like 1. They are the same, but played by a different actor, I guess. No, okay, I skipped that comment. You're not worthy to be read. Season 5 starts off with 2.08 million, followed by Blocked 1.69 million. What's Past is Prologue, episode 100, 1.78 million, followed by The Fast and the Furious with 1.64 million. So now we are officially under 2 million, and it was maintained so far. Under 2 million, season 5. Next up, The Girl with the Red Lightning. 1.45 million. Legacy, 1.53 million. This season hit a new low, and I am not surprised. This was hands down the worst season in the entire show, for me at least. Here I am, after watching 2 really bad episodes in a row. Season 4 of The Flash starts off in one of the most awful way it can after a kind of bad third season. Here's the thing. Now, Iris is team leader and it doesn't make any sense. She's team leader because they want her to be in Starlab more often, I guess. I feel like Cisco is more fitting for that role. I don't know. I mean, he's a scientist, he's a meta-human, he has experience. He was side by side with Barry since almost day 1 of the first season of The Flash. He is a very clever guy. Even Caitlin Snow could be a good leader. I don't understand the context of this season because Killer Frost and Caitlin were not around. That's why she's not the leader, but Iris is a journalist. Let her do journalist stuff. She doesn't need to be in Starlab. Now, let's keep going with the Iris plot here. Iris is a terrible leader. I will go further with this. Iris is really annoying. She is controlled by her emotion and she has outbursts against people when it's not even their fault. Like, she had that outburst with the therapist for Barry leaving for the Speed Force. Okay. Whatever. They really want us to feel sorry and sad for Iris, but I just feel anger when I see Iris with season 4. The dialogue is godly awful. I don't know what happened. Did they fire everyone that was involved in season 1 and 2? Did they promote it like people that has no experience in writing good dialogue. The pacing is also terrible. Remember when I said in season 3 the pacing was bad? Well, it's the same thing because Barry is in the Speed Force for only one episode, and even there, he is back with Team Flash very early in the episode, and he suits up again as the Flash at the end of the first episode. What if we had a full character arc where Wally becomes good enough to be the Flash? But no. This is not what we are getting. Wally is bad, he cannot stop anybody. Yeah, this is the story they wanted to tell. They wanted to tell a story all about Barry. So what's the point of having two speedsters if only one of the two get somewhat of a, not necessarily an arc, but only one of the two can shine? And it's very sad because I wished Wally was the main character for this first half. 6 episodes, 5 episodes. Now, how you introduce Barry? Well, you can make flashback scene. What else? You can showcase what the Speed Force is like for Barry. These are ideas I bring. So we still see Barry Allen, but he's not the main Flash. It's Wally. That's my take. But no, in this show, this is what we get. Now, I showcase this tier list to show you how low are the first 2 episodes I've just seen. So, the first episode is bottom Bravo for B. Now, I still think it's a bit better than Versus Zoom. That's why it's 1 tier above. But it's still a really bad episode. The pacing is really bad. I feel like we got an entire storyline rushed into 1 episode when we could have that storyline spread into several episodes. Like, having that samurai that wants the Flash to be back, that could be episode 2 or 3 thing in a TV show, but instead that's the season premiere. And Caitlin did left Team Flash for 6 months, but most of that time is off screen, so we don't really get that much of a story with Caitlin outside of Team Flash. Because of that, well, pacing. Next up, Mixed Signal. Oh my, I was rolling my eye. All these scenes, they really tried hard to be funny, but that wasn't funny. Now, I didn't speak a lot about the tone. I didn't mention the tone in the season 3 part, but now I will mention it because it came back to mind. The Flash was dark in season 2, and it went darker in season 3, but in season 3 it wasn't handled by a good writer, and the pacing suffered, the dialogue suffered, the content suffered, and for them, mature meant boring. I don't have better word to describe it. So season 3 was boring. It did pretend to be smarter than what it was. Season 3 tone was bad. Sometimes we had a laugh. But here's the thing. The Flash in the 3rd season felt like an Arrow season, but with the Flash character. So the character don't have the right tone for the story they wanted to apply. So because of that, it didn't work. I'm a huge fan of Arrow. I like Arrow. This is one of my favorite TV show out there. This is in my top 5 TV show out there. But they were able to give good character for the tone. The Flash, it was light-hearted. In season 2, we had a lot of fun. A lot of scenes were funny. A lot of moments were funny. But the tone of the story, of what was going on, it was dark. But the writing was clever enough to make the character work with the darker tone. The character didn't work with the darker tone of the third season. Now, this time around at the fourth season, I feel like they tried too hard to be funny to make us forget what they were doing with season 3. And we end up with episode like Mixed Signal. Mixed Signal, the second episode of season 4, was really bad. The only reason why I placed it higher than Power Outage, it's because I didn't remember that episode being this bad. Simple as that. And I've seen it. I've seen the entire episode. Power Outage, I skip it. That's why it's there. Now, these couple therapy scene were really awkward. They were not funny. They were really bad. The dialogue was really awful. And it felt like they really wanted to tell you how Iris feels, and that couple therapy was all about Iris, but she needed to blame Barry. She needed a punching bag with words. This is bad. This is really bad. The villain was bad. Cisco, the episode where the villain plays with Tech, has the suit upgraded with Tech. So suddenly, the Flash suit has a lot of Tech in it. It's now the Iron Man suit, but for the Speedster. And guess what? The villain take control of that suit. And why? Why Cisco thought it was needed? Why? So the suit turns against Barry, leaving some awkward scene to watch. Mixed Signal is awful. I wish I could forget that episode. One of the worst the show ever had. As simple as that. And I know what comes next. Soon we will get Girls' Nights Out, which is another level bad. I should already place that one to F tier. Really? I don't need to see it. All I can do is I skip it because I know Girls' Nights Out will be bad. So this is the first 2 episodes in a nutshell. Huge step down from a third season that was already bad. I just wanted to address a few issues with episode number 14. So, that episode felt like filler. But here's the thing. They dare to actually damage the Barry character again. They basically told us Barry never learned from training people. He never learned from the issues he had training Wally or Jesse Quick in season 3. He still feels like an incompetent trainer or leader to some extent. And this is kind of bad because this shows us, the viewer, and this tells us, the viewer, that the writer are not good enough to make their character evolve and grow. This show, with season 3 and 4, doesn't want to grow, it doesn't want to evolve, it doesn't want to improve. It's just staying in that comfort zone the writer are in. Episode number 14 also made me realize something else. They replaced a lot of Cisco scene this season just to have Iris filling some screen time in Starlab. At the first place, I have issues with that because Iris was a reporter in the first two seasons. Season 1 and 2, she was a reporter. Season 1, she felt like a character. A really bad character, but a character nonetheless. Season 2, Iris was an even more good character. Season 2 so far was the best season for Iris. But then, Season 3 happened. Then, Season 4 happened. Now she's just the team leader or the viewer when we need some explanation for the sci-fi aspect of the show. I am still asking, why is she the freaking team leader if she doesn't understand science? Team Flash is all about science. They beat villains with science. She doesn't belong as team leader in Team Flash. She could be a somewhat decent leader in other teams, but in Team Flash, they speak science. Team Flash is made by scientists. Barry, Caitlin, Aerie, Cisco, they are all scientists. And Iris was at her best when she was outside of that freaking lab. I will give credit where credit is due. Barry being back to his normal life out of jail has some struggle with his job. And I will admit it, that's very relatable, very interesting, and it feels realistic despite the sci-fi aspect of the show. So on that aspect, they were smart enough to not give back to Barry the old job he had. Now, I feel like that character, Subject 9, could have been much better if they spent more episode on her instead of just throwing her for a 1 week freak, a 1 week thing, a 1 episode thing. Mainly because her dying affects Ralph Dibny a lot. He feels guilty. And look, Subject 9 is not the best meta we had this season, but they rushed through her storyline. The pacing of that episode was really bad. It felt like we could have spent more time with that character. Even if she's not that great, what if the story involving her was better and had a better growth and progress? But no, the writers of The Flash, they like to fill their season of fillers like that one. Here again, I will give credit where credit is due. Devil Wife, I think it's Merlin her name, I'm not quite sure. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. But Devil Wife looks actually really interesting this season. She is more of a multi-dimensional character because you can see there's some kind of rift getting traded between Marlin and Devil. She is like, is it the right thing to do this? Are you alright? She sees something is wrong with Devil, which is very interesting. And her being worried makes sense. This episode overall is really, really bad, despite the credit I tried to give. It's much worse than the future episode in season 3. It's also much worse than when they decided to take away Barry's power. And yeah, Subject 9. I did consider at first to skip this episode and place it to F tier, but then I see Girls Nights Out and I'm like, Subject 9 may be better from the get-go. And I will also go further with this. I feel like Subject 9 reflects a lot of the issues we have with Season 4. Bad dialogue. So many scenes try to be funny, but it's not. The darker tone of the Flash in the third season didn't fit the show. The character didn't fit the show. But now, the characters still don't really fit, even if they try their best to make them funny again. I miss season 2. So after the terrible 14th episode, we got the very, very good 15th episode, and I will be honest, this episode was great, despite the flaws. Look, you bring a new plot hole. Enter Flash Time. Flash Time is the new power for this single episode. But it creates a plot hole, because now each time Barry doesn't use that power, you will wonder why. Because that power is broken, he can basically freeze time because he's moving so fast. Now, some counter argument to this could be it's taxing, Barry was tired, or it was a world-ending threat. But here's the thing. Crisis on Infinite Earth didn't use Enter Flash Time. This is the first time and last time we get to see Flash Time. Now, outside of that, I feel like this single episode they actually hired better writer, I guess, because they remembered that the biggest plot with season 3 was the consequence of time travel. Jessie Quick doesn't really know these consequences because she didn't really travel back in time yet in her own adventure. She didn't create Flashpoint on her Earth. Barry did in season 3, and he created Savitar, and he created so many other issues. So it breaks my heart because most of the time it feels like season 4 and season 3 doesn't evolve or grow up, and Barry doesn't become a better Flash. But this time around, this episode, they actually tell us, the viewer, that Barry learned from his mistake from the past, which is weird. It's weird because season 3 and 4 don't really shine in the writing department. Now, Enter Flash Time also had a few weird line of dialogue and a few weird lines here and there. Like, yeah. Outside of that, Enter Flash Time was a quite good episode. Here again, I really ate the sentence, "We are the Flash," and I still think Iris doesn't belong in freaking Star Lab. Please give her some reporter work to do again. Now, one redeeming quality for this episode and the entire season is the fact that Aerie from R2 is a very good character. I like that character so much. It's the best Wells we got in the entire show. As much as Ilbarton Wells was a good Wells for season 1, I still think Aerie had more depth to him, and he had more than one character arc. And now, in this episode, he slowly becomes more normal. He was always some kind of outcast because he is a genius, and he is no small talk. But this season is slowly find himself becoming more human at some extent. This is why I like that character so much. Aerie, good character. Ralph Dibny is also another good character, and I felt like since he wasn't around, I missed him. That's weird to say coming from Rolf in the 4th season, but I will be honest. Rolf in the 4th season is disliked by many. I do like that character a lot. Anyway, Enter Flash Time. Great episode, wrong season. This small part of this video also showcase how it's not consistent. One week you have a very bad episode of The Flash, and then after you got a very good episode, so I do expect episode 16 to be awful. Oh, guess what? I do know which episode this is. Episode 16 is Iris Run Iris, one of the worst episodes in the entire TV show. And guess what? I will skip it because it's godly awful. And yeah, Null and Annoyed. I kinda remember the villain and her power set. I'm not looking forward for that episode. Lose Yourself. I'm wondering if it's the Eminem reference there. Anyway, that's it for this part of the video. Enter Flash Time. Redeemed Subject 9. But yeah, Run Iris Run comes after and it tear apart any goodwill we got from Enter Flash Time. I am just done watching The Flash 4th season episode number 18. I will sound cynical just a little bit. Ralph was right. Now, this is sad because they could have done something interesting like listening to Ralph to kill DeVoe. And guess what? The season plot would end right here, right now. They could have won if Team Flash didn't add these morals, that desire to be superhero that never kill. Well, if they didn't add that desire, guess what? Devil could have died. Ralph could have killed freaking Devil at that point. But no, we want the season to keep going. Team Flash must be stupid enough to just let Devil live. So Devil can just do whatever he wants. We all know how OP he is. How it's near impossible to stop him. Now, we are in The Flash. People try to be hopeful, happy. It's a more family-driven TV show. But Ralph was freaking right. Team Flash was just doing Team Flash stuff and they were behind Devil. They were losing. Devil was many steps ahead the entire season. And they don't do anything. Team Flash don't do anything to change that. Killing Devil would actually change that. But no, we need the plot. We need the season to last 23 episodes. So guess what? This is what happens. I am getting Season 2 Flash vibe. So far, Season 2 was my favorite season. But the ending of that season was really bad. By episode 18, they could have stopped Zoom. But no, the season has 23 episodes. So Zoom got away, and the plot keep going, and the season keep going. Do you see a pattern there? So I am really pissed right now. Now, you see, I did place episode 18 in the A tier. I had a few issues with the dialogue most likely, and how Ralph was right, but Team Flash doesn't want to kill because it's Team Flash. They are not Team Arrow. Ralph is right, but let's just be the Flash and do things the Flash way, even if so far we could not stop freaking Devil. So episode 18 wasn't the worst this season. It was emotional and you see more depth to Rolf. That was a Rolf-centric episode. I liked a lot Rolf this episode, and we also see some throwback to season 2 with Joe West's ex-wife that was basically mentioned. Ari being a drug addict. In that case, he is addicted to his thinking cap filled of dark matter. This episode was interesting, but I feel like the writing is still not that amazing. It's still better than a lot of episodes, but as you can see it's A. It's not higher than A. So the pacing of this season is now terrible because I feel like episode 19 will be pointless, episode 20 will be pointless, episode 21 will be pointless. And then we will have 22, which is the penultimate episode, and we will discover the Think Your Big Plan. In episode 23, guess what? Team Flash will stop Devil, even if Devil is OP, broken, absurd. The whole season could have ended with episode 18. What if Ralph did something unexpected by the Thinker and just ended up killing Devil? Now, I understand character growth. I liked how Ralph did grow as a character. He is slowly becoming a hero just before being killed by the Thinker. But here's the thing, he was freaking right. So, even if you want him to have character growth, his character growth goes against the writing of that season. It damaged the season so much for me. I like character growth, I already said it. And I was pissed at some episode in the past because it felt like they were throwing out the window any character growth. For Barry is the most recent example I got. But this is how I feel. I feel like they ran out of ideas and they were like, yeah, we need to find a way to free Devil because we cannot end here. Because the Flash need to keep going. So, yeah. Big disappointment. Episode 18 could have been great, but it's not. So I am just done watching The Flash 4th season. The best way to describe how I feel about that season is to showcase the tier list. Now, even if some episode will be a bit higher, it doesn't mean the overall product was that great. So as you can see it right now, we got 7 episodes that are Bravo or less. It's really low considering season 1 and 2 had a lot of episodes in A, S, S+, A+. So let's scroll up. We got roughly 7 episode in the center of A and A+. And we got roughly 8 episodes in the S and S+. So there's a lot of good about that season, and I'm actually shocked. Now, was the overall product as good as the first 2 seasons? I don't think so. The entire season is nowhere near as good as season 1 or 2. It has a lot of other issues, but I will be honest here, I enjoyed quite a lot the ending of that season. The biggest sin of this season is, here again, the pacing. By episode 18, the entire season could have ended if they just let Ralph Dibny kill Devo, but instead they wanted that emotional scene where Ralph is dead. He dies in front of Team Flash. Team Flash is powerless. Now, of course, there's another moment I can't really remember in which episode this was. I do believe it was like episode 21 or episode 22. We had another occasion where Team Flash could have defeated the Vo, but there again, Caitlyn wants to get Frost back, and because of that, she basically helps the Vo escaping. Oh my, this was awful. And the whole thing with Barry just letting himself getting captured and sent in jail, it doesn't make much sense. What if he wasn't found on the scene of the crime, the murder of the Vo? Even if I kinda enjoyed the Prism storyline, I felt like it was forced and it was stupid the way they actually forced in that Prism storyline where Barry is sent there. By the end of the season, Devil, the Tinker, is a Justice League level threat. There's no way Team Flash can handle that by themselves. And that's very funny because they address it in the show, but I still disagree. It's still it doesn't add up. Like, what if the entire Arrowverse at that point was just there and they unite and clash with Tinker? As much as Tinker has lots of acts, how can he deal with Superman? How can he deal with Supergirl? And it's also very funny because in season 1, I think the writer changed since then, but in season 1, it was told to us every meta-human, when they use their powers, they get exhausted. And this also explains why Barry need to eat so much. Now, Devil has every hack he can by the end of the season. And guess what? He doesn't feel tired anytime. He's just that all-powerful threat that cannot be really stopped. And each time he is about to get stopped, of course, something happens because they cannot stop the villain until the last episode of the season. Now, let's address something else I already said many times. A lot of the jokes, a lot of the fun doesn't land well. It's not funny anymore. I think the dialogue is the biggest sin of that season, outside of having really bad character growth for the entire cast. Now, I will admit, Aerie was amazing this season. Cisco had interesting plot lines, but here again, they don't really want the characters to grow. So, Cisco and Gypsy break up, I think. And what if he just took that job with Gypsy? That's a big what if. And another thing that really bothers me so much about that season, everyone, I say everyone, need to be in a relationship. Everyone need a boyfriend, a girlfriend. I also remember in season 3 when Cecile was a casual. She was just in the background. She didn't took that much space. She was just fine as a recurring guest. But now in this season she feels like a series regular. And she's basically the answer to everything because she can read minds. Oh my, oh my. Rolf started off weird and very felt off character a lot during that season. Like that time where he held a grudge against Rolf. He's used to be, well, I say he, I speak about Barry. He used to be a character that always looked into the best of who is dealing with. He is always trying to see the best part of someone. But with Rolf, no. And the show really tried their best to explain why. But it still felt off character for me. I did like the friendship they had throughout the season. All these bonding moments. Another big issue, Iris in Starlab. She didn't feel like a character of her own with a character arc. She just felt like that actress that shows up in screen because she's paid to do so and that's her job. They didn't really know what to do with her, so they gave her the Team Flash leader position, even if it doesn't make any sense. It's not because you're dating Barry, it's not because you are getting married to Barry that you're suited to be the leader of Team Flash. Now, I will bring season 8 example of where Iris can be a leader is Team Citizen. I say that because in later season, Iris is a reporter, or at least they try to give her a somewhat reporter-like storyline. And she is basically the boss at the paper she's working at. And it makes sense. It's Iris. And she's a reporter. But her in charge of Team Flash, where they deal with meta-human every week, where science is a big thing in that team. It doesn't stick. It doesn't make any sense. Don't get me started on all of these painful therapy scenes. Sometime like after Rolf died, I was somewhat fine with it because they tried to bank on the emotional impact and the attachment the viewer has toward Rolf. That was a nice attempt there. But most of the time, these freaking therapy scenes were really, really bad. 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 No, when I say bad, I say bad. I don't know what writer were thinking when they were making the dialogue in most of these therapy scenes. As I said, the only episode where therapy was actually fine was after Wolf died, but all of the other time where Barry and Iris like communication, so they go see the therapist, or even when Caitlin went to see the therapist, it felt filler. It didn't feel right. Most of the season actually feel like filler. That's another thing. That was really rough. Tinker as a villain was clearly better than Savitar, but nowhere near as good or interesting when we look back to Zoom or Reverse Flash. I do think this season is a step up if we look back at Season 3 on how bad Season 3 was, but it's still not really good. And it feels like it's teenager the viewership now. Like the viewers, like the target audience they had used to be young adult with season 1 and 2, I think. Maybe 3 at some extent because they really tried to be dark, but I feel like now they no more really aim at young adult. They aim at like teenagers. I say that because of the writing of the dialogue, the lack of characterization, the lack of growth with the character, and how forced a lot of the humor is and how forced sometimes they want to be funny. They are not funny. It's not funny. Now it's very sad because Citizen Cold was a very interesting character in episode 19, but it was in the wrong season. And I actually like a lot of parallel between Captain Cold and Citizen Cold. Captain Cold used to be a character that doesn't want to deal with emotions, and Citizen Cold wants to deal with his own emotion, and he wants other people to deal with emotion. And I think a lot of the team and the ideas behind that season is deal with your emotion. You need these emotion. That sounds cringy, and it is cringy actually when I think about it. Oh my, oh my. This season. This season. Sometime we had pacing issue, other time it went fast. Sometime it was good, other times it was girls' nights out and it was terrible to watch. So, um, I think this most recent watch was my most interesting one. What I mean by there is, I actually enjoyed that season much more than before. I think overall this season should deserve a 7 out of 10. It's just zero point 0.5 more than 3 because I think it's unfair for 4 to have the same grade as 3. I don't think season 4 is any better than this. Now, if you have seen my part 1 of this retrospective, you have seen my grade for the first season being 8 out of 10. But I will tell you this, 7 is average and 8 is really good. So there's a big gap in my book. And if I wasn't making that video here right now, I think I would have skipped season 7. And in the future, if I rewatch the entire TV show, I will skip season 4. Because season 4 is not good enough, I think. 7 feels generous, and that's it. This season was rough at points, and at other points it was fine. Uh, yeah. What were your thoughts on the 4th season? Please leave a comment. I am very curious to see if I am crazy about what I say. Next up, Iris has taken over, being the main character it seems. I agree. As the show seems to focus on her now and very second. I agree. That was that season, one of that season's biggest sins. And she didn't really add the story at all. She barely had material there, and the material Iris got that season was terrible. Oh, you're right. This is also the start of Barry being wrong about everything. That's true. That season gets worse. The joy is gone from the show. Too many new characters will either have daddy issues or are just annoyingly flippant. That's true. 3 out of 10. Bad. This tries the season the best, except Carlos and Great. I didn't like anything. Cicada was a weird villain, and his daughter didn't make it better. Just a waste of time. Addition of Sherlock Wells became quite successful after appearing not to at first, but the first best part was Cisco humor that was severely increased. Okay, I guess. So after reading all of these comments, people didn't like season 5. I don't recall any 10s in the first 6 either. The first 10 comments, which is like the staple for that video, no 10 out of 10. Is it a sign that season 5 is not liked? Out of 10%, no one has given a 10 out of 10. Keep that somewhere in your mind. This is season 6. Oh my, these first 6 comments are rough. 7, 5, and this is a 2. Another 2. 5. 2. My, people didn't like that season. So, first comment, the Flash 6 season start off with the strongest first half the show has had since its 3rd season, and with one of the strongest villain. I agree. Then after Crisis on Infinite Earth, it went downhill. Agreed. A step in the right direction, but not much more. Yeah, better than 5. Seems like this season is starting a big shift in the show. The focus is no longer on Barry, but all the friends of his, and propping them up, giving them a total of more screen time. I fully understand. I agree. With the first half, it felt needed because they thought they would lose Barry. But in the back half, not really. They used the first season to prepare for the Crisis on Infinite Earth, and the preparation was just bad. After Crisis on Infinite Earth, it didn't get any better. Wow. Okay. We are very different. Bloodwork was amazing, but that's my take. Wow, that was a real mess of a season with so much going on, not much being seen all the way to the end, and the way the season ended so bland. Everything is terrible. Terrible Barry became 5 minutes in the series. Terrible villain, uninteresting field character. Infuriating Aris again. And again, they didn't devote enough time to Barry. That's what I suspect was said after. As I am recording this right now, at the moment, I have just seen the first 8 episodes of the 5th season of The Flash, and guess what? This season is the season I remembered to be the worst the show ever had. Here's the thing, I am actually surprised. I do have issues with this season, but so far it looks better than season 4. It's kind of shocking for me. Sometimes the humor, like the funny stuff, make my eye roll a lot, but it's nowhere near as bad or painful as season 4. But here's the thing, there are still a lot of issues. I skipped episode 5 because I always remembered episode 5 being so awful, badly, terrible, so I skipped it. Because I was like, I will spare myself that kind of pain and I will just move on and watch. Because anyway, episode 5, based on what I remembered, was a filler episode. And I was right. I didn't feel like I missed anything going into episode 6. And I have a lot of issues based on the first 8 episodes. And this clip here I am clipping. We'll be focused on episode 8 and how wrong time travel is in this show by season 5. It wasn't great in past season. In season 1, it made more sense. In season 2, they started going out of control, but it wasn't as bad as season 1. I'd say time travel wasn't that bad. Season 1 and 2 were fine. Season 3 got off the rail. Season 3 was really bad because time travel was awful. And season 5, it's even worse. The sole fact that Barry let Nora stay, making herself her own flashpoint, it doesn't make sense. In season 4, we had a nuke, a bomb that was about to blow up the entire city, and Barry was in character by saying they need to find other option, other answer to solve that nuke issue. Because time travel wasn't an option. You know why? He learned from Flashpoint. He learned that even if you rewind time, even if you travel back in time and you try to fix it, you break something, and when you try to put pieces back together, there are cracks. So time travel reflects you breaking something. And when you go back in time to fix it, even if you try your best, there are still cracks. I'm bad at explaining, but the show did a great job at explaining. And Jay was also good at explaining to Barry how speedsters should never mess up with time. And guess what? Barry learned. But because this show doesn't let character grow, because this show cannot grow as a show, and because the writing keep getting worse, well, this season he forgot about that. They hint at him remembering, but he didn't learn from it. He remembered how bad this is, but he didn't learn his lesson. In the first episode, he is the one pointing out how Nora should not be there. He is the one telling everyone we need to send Nora back. And of course, because Nora is now the new main character of this show, she sticks around, making her own flashpoint. Now, Cicada is OP broken absurd. As a villain, he come across at first as really threatening, really interesting. In the first 3 episodes, I will admit, I liked Cicada a lot. But then the more I get Cicada, the less I'm interested by him. Because each time end up, he's about to kill them and then he run away. Or they are about to stop him and he run away. Each time. No fight get a proper closure. The closest proper closure we had was when they fought in the woods and he thought he killed Vibe. That was the best fight they had because it actually made sense that he just left. But there are other points where he is about to kill someone, but just because Nora pops up and calls Dad, then Cicada is like, oh, he is a father. I will let him live for another day. I ain't meta-human. I ate you, the Flash. But I will let you live because you got a daughter. I roll my eyes each time I hear family. I think each week they need to remind you, Team Flash is one family. That season, man. That season has a really rough start. But it's better than 4. I will admit it. It's better than 4. It's far better than 3. But there are still issues. It's bleeding of issues. Now, episode 8 is all about fan service and time travel. They time travel so much, they created so many things by time traveling, and they were lucky that what they did didn't affect that much the timeline because they were messy. Each time they were showing up somewhere, other people were around and they could have recognized them and see them being there. At some point, Harry from Earth 2 also sees Barry and Nora, and guess what? They meet with Elbard. What happened to you and your rules show? What happened? Tell me. Writers, what are you thinking? Look, I get it. Episode 8 is the 100th episode of The Flash. They wanted to make something special. But time travel like that? Bad idea. Bad idea. This is a really bad episode. On top of that, by the end, they could have stopped Cicada. But because it's The Flash and they want one villain for 23 episodes, Cicada end up running away. I will say this. I was entertained. It's not the worst episode in the show. It's not. I won't lie here. Despite my issues, I thought the episode was watchable. I enjoyed it a lot. It was better than a lot of episodes in Season 3, a lot of episodes in Season 4 as well. But here's the thing. I look back at Season 1 and 2. It was great. It was just a much better product in the first two seasons. Now we got Cicada winning every week, but still running away. He is almost impossible to stop. At that point, he is a Justice League threat already, just like Devo, because he can zap everyone power around. So the best bet for Barry is like call Oliver and tell Oliver, go help me. You fight better than this guy. But even there, Oliver is not really a match because Cicada has super strength, I'm guessing, because of the dagger. And the dagger is really broken. It's really OP. It's absurd. Regardless, episode 8 wasn't that great. So far, season 5 is a rough watch. I point out a lot of issues, but it's been entertaining. But I still think at the end it will be a really bad season because I remember what happened next. I remember another filler episode that is basically a really, really bad time loop. There's another episode where we get a new Cicada that's even worse. We have Cisco giving away his powers because reason. I'm not really looking forward to see what happens next. This season of The Flash is not really great. So, from now on, I'm pretty sure it will only get worse. And it will be really hard for me to pick and choose one episode that will end up in the S plus tier in my tier list. And I need to because every tier list I make sure to at least one episode of each season of the show end up in the S plus. And I don't remember having a favorite episode in season 5 because it was always that really bad season where Iris is still unlikable. Iris is still in freaking Starlab instead of doing reporter stuff. You know, the biggest issue I had with Iris with season 4, it's back, it's still around. Starlab is about science. What the F is she doing there? She doesn't feel as much team leader as what she was in season 4, but she still feel like an extension to Barry. Like, she will give orders, she will tell people to do stuff, or she will just repeat what Barry says. It's Team Flash. I want Barry to be the leader. Or Cisco, even Cisco. You know why? It's because they are men of science. Even Caitlyn. Caitlyn could make a good leader. Because now she is in control of Killer Frost. Because she is a scientist. Why do you really force down our throat that Iris should be in Starlab with the rest of the cast? Now, I understand this is a TV show and they want her to interact with others. I don't care. Give her her own supporting cast, her own like supporting characters to her storyline at the journal or being a reporter, you know? She doesn't have any power, she's not smarter. She is a reporter, that's it. That's who she is, and that's what she should be doing. Now, another issue. Cecile. I remember being fine with her in season 3. She had a kind of small role. She was there some episode here and there. You get to meet her, you get to know her. She wasn't that bad. But now she feel like the key of everything, and a lot of scenes she is getting, I roll my eyes. Oh my, oh my. Now, I will admit, Sherlock is better than HR in season 3, but it's not Airy. He's not as interesting as Airy. He's not as good as Airy. Airy was the best Wells the show had since Eobard. Now, Ralph is a better character than what he used to be in season 4. Sometimes his jokes still don't really land. But overall, this season so far is making me laugh more than last season. I think they are step up and also step down. Cicada as a villain first come across as being a good villain, but the more you get him, the less interesting he is. And we get him almost every week. It's very sad. I wish they just ended that Cicada storyline with episode 8 and they would build up something new in the back half. That could be interesting. That could be good. Or if you really want Cicada, make the build up to Cicada a bit faster. If you really want your Cicada, make the build up faster. But no, we will get Cicada around episode 14, 15, I can't remember. So we have another like 7 episodes where it's current Cicada that gets worse and worse every week. And then we got a watered down version of him that is just anger and even more OP and even more disgusting we get after that. Oh my. This season. It's a very sad case. After the episode number 10 decided to put on the bench Barry Allen Flash because the plot wants it to happen and because they want Nora to be the superhero, the only one able to stop the Weather Witch. Well, we got another really bad episode with episode 11. Now, I will admit, I was actually entertained by both episodes, but they were not that great. Episode 12 is, I should say, episode 11. We are not at 12 yet. Episode 11 was the one with the most issues. It was a really, really bad episode. It had a lot of good ideas, but it also had a really bad execution. And here again, Nora, that's her first time she is uh, paralyzed. She's not able to run for most of the episode. It's just the same storyline as Barry in the second season after Zoom defeated Barry. So guess what? It's the same storyline with another character again. The first time was the most interesting one because it was the first time. Now it's the second time, and we know that won't be permanent. She won't be paralyzed until the end of the show. She will be back on her feet by the end of the episode. So we could consider this episode being filler. And guess what? I rolled my eyes again because after they fought Cicada ran away. Hell yeah. So Team Flash could have won. Team Flash could have ended the season storyline right here, right now, right there. Episode 11 again. I lost the count on how many times Cicada ran away. Even if he's really powerful, even if he is near unstoppable, he's still running away all the time. This time around, he was losing, and guess what? He ran away. Roll your eyes. Oh my. This was bad. Then Metahuman cure things. Okay. They wanted to write off Cisco because they were not sure if they would get the actor back for season 6. But here's the thing. It feels off character for Cisco. He is the kind of character, he is a nerd, he likes his power. At first his power was a curse, but he started liking these powers by season 3 and 4. He made peace with the powers. It was accursed only by season 2. So it feels off character for Cisco to want this power gone. Now they try to explain he wants a normal life. Since when? I'm telling you, since when? Cisco likes Team Flash. It's like his dream job. He's passionate about helping others, saving lives. He likes tech. He likes making tech. And you're telling me he wants a normal life. What? What? Since when? So, this season, season 5, feel like the character assassination of Cisco Ramon. Hell yeah! What can I add more? He's not a good character anymore. So this season has been entertaining at best. Is it a good season? Not really. Still has lots of issues. So far, I will admit, most of it is better than season 4. But here's the thing. The gold face episode is coming. I skipped that one. So that one, Barry and Ralph both get captured. They have some kind of bracelet and they go on a Mission Impossible like mission where they have guns. That episode is a mess. I hate that episode. I skip it every time I rewatch the show because I'm rolling my eyes too much with this episode. I've seen it maybe twice. The first time, I was rolling my eyes. The second time, I was like, maybe I was too harsh and too hard on the episode, but then I realized I wasn't. The episode was really bad. So, yeah. The gold face episode is coming. The next one I need to see is episode 12. Based on the title, I think it's the one where they they go through Cicada niece memories, I think. So I don't remember if that was a good episode. I will see it shortly, but so far this season, not really great. It's the Nora show. It's not the Barry Allen show. It's the truth. She gets much more to do, and I will repeat myself. Iris as a character is so awful. I hate Iris so much. She is the worst part of season 4 and 5. In season 3, she was bad, but she was kind of the plot, so you needed her. But season 4 and 5, I'm rolling my eyes most of the time when she has dialogue to say. It's not the actress' fault, it's the writer. They just didn't know what to do with that character. And Sherlock is right to investigate Nora. But here again, Iris. Iris! She ruins everything. She ruins everything. She's just a staple for rational thinking. That's the best way to put Iris as a character in season 5. Barry wanted Nora to go back in the future. Iris didn't want to. Sherlock wants to investigate Nora. Iris don't want him to. She picks rational thinking and throw it out the window because that's the character they want to portray as writers. It drives me nuts. It's the more I think about Iris and the more I think about this episode and this season so far, the worse I feel like this season is getting. Outside of lies, building up tension and drama for future episodes. Episode 12 was enjoyable. It was the best episode this season had so far. And there was another issue I had. The Cisco and Rolf subplot. It wasn't good. It was really bad. Some of the dialogue here and there made my eye roll again because this is the Flash 5th season. Yeah, that episode wasn't as bad as I kind of expected it would be. But then I take a look at the list of episodes we got in season 5. And guess what? Gold-Faced, I skipped that one because I already said it. That one is awful. And I've took a look. Episode 14, Cause and Excess. A time loop episode. A filler episode. A bottle episode. Call it the way you want. Another episode I will skip. You know why? It's filler. And it's very sad because I've seen many time loop episodes that were much better than this one. Arrow had one. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. had one. At some extent, Legends of Tomorrow did a better time loop. So it's 3 shows that did the time loop better. Because of that, there's no point of me watching again that painful episode. It's not good when you cannot make a good time loop episode. That being said, now I will rewatch episode 15 and I feel like a lot of drama, scream and cry will happen because this is the Flash and this season was really weird. I remember it being really bad. So far I maintain what I said. It's a bit better than 4. But I do remember how the season ended. and it will be worse than season 4 and worse than season 3. If I pick individual episode just to watch them, they are enjoyable. I'm entertained. I'm not bored, which is a good thing. Because if you look back at season 3, which is another low point of the show, pick an episode, you may end up being bored to death because pacing, because season 3 was really bad. At least here, even if it's not the best the Flash has to offer, I could somewhat be entertained. Now, I really hope the ending is better than what I remembered, because otherwise I will suffer through lots of episodes and this will be a very hard watch. It's episode 16 and I actually lost the count of how many times Cicada and the Flash fought. I lost the count, as simple as that. They fight almost every week. There's no tension because nobody dies. There's no tension because plot armor. There's no tension either because Cicada run away each time, even if he could kill everyone. The more I think about episode 16, the more I hate that episode. Now, I won't lie, I was entertained by it. But it was still a bad episode. Barry and Cicada speak again twice this time. And the first time Cicada wanted to kill him, but Barry was like, oh, later on, let's speak as Barry. Let's reveal our secret identity to a serial killer. Let's give a speech about fatherhood and legacy. We will fix that guy. And because it's the Flash, well, this is how they solve the Cicada case. Wait. The season must go on for 8 more episodes. Writer, what are we going to do? Let's kill off Cicada and make Cicada. Because Cicada will have the same power set, but she will be better. Because Cicada must be better. Wait. Cicada will have the same hatred toward meta-human. She will have the same goal and she will oppose the same threats. Let's do this. Look. Each episode this season had a subplot. And 90% of the subplot are a reason I didn't enjoy that episode so much. Now, this is funny because I rant a lot about this season so far. As I am making my tier list of the episode, I feel like I am very gentle because a lot of these episodes end up in A+ and A. But is it really A+ and A if I have a lot of complaint and rant? Maybe yes, because Season 3 and Season 4 did set the bar really low for the entire show. Is Season 5 better than 3 and 4? If we take a look to individual episode, maybe. But the overall season, the writing, the issue, the plot that doesn't grow, and the repeat of the same kind of storyline over and over again. It's bad. It's not a good season. Yes, you will be entertained by it. I am. But it's not a good season. It's more of a waste of time. I still believe that season 5 could have been good if they stick around for 8 episodes with Cicada. Stop him at the end of the 8th episode. Move on to another villain. Move on to another storyline. But instead, we got 16 episodes, or 15 if we take out the crossover. We got 15 episodes of that Cicada that should have lasted for 8 episodes. So the pacing is actually terrible. It's taking forever to be solved. And when you think it may end and your suffering may end, no, you are wrong. Because they add Cicada. And I already said how bad of a villain Cicada is. She is just Cicada but more powerful. For more tension? No, there's still no tension. She went on. She's OP because apparently she can stop bullets with her dagger. She can stop vibes. She can stop frost. She can stop everyone. But yet she doesn't kill anybody. Plot armor. Because she stopped bullets, does that make her a speedster? Because they don't really tell what her powers are. We assume her power is just take away the powers of other people around and create energy blasts. They don't really speak about speed. She's not a speedster, but yet she feel like one because when Joe shoots at her, she stopped bullet with her dagger. What am I watching? Man, I miss season 1 and 2. You see, season 1 and 2, I wasn't like that much into questioning the writing. I question the writing here because it's not good writing. It's not. Season 5 is bad. The first episode that may end up being an S plus may be Memorabilia or something. Episode 12, when they dive deep into Cicada's flashbacks and brain and memory. That may be the only episode that has a chance on ending up in the S plus tier, and even there it will be in the bottom of it so far, because right now that episode is on the S tier and it's like in the lower end of S tier, and I think this will be the only episode that has a chance, because I know I will hate what comes next. It's really rough. That season is not good. So they took 18 episodes to send back Nora where she belongs in the future. Guess what? Iris, the worst character the show ever had, is against it. She's all in for a second chance, and she blamed Barry for not wanting to give a second chance to someone they cannot trust. She has been lying. She is a liar. Nora cannot be trusted. What if Reverse Flash had his own agenda? What if? What if Barry is the only character out there that make rational thinking? And guess what? Cecile also defend Nora. I understand giving both sides of a discussion, but the side of Cecile and Iris is the stupid side. So the writing of this season has been really, really, really bad. The overall season was entertaining, but it's not as good as season 1 and 2. And even if some aspects of the show are improved since season 4, I also think season 4 was better. So far, season 5 is the worst of the show. Even on my most recent watch, where I tried my best to really defend this show. Now, maybe I was too hard on the first few episodes of season 1 and 2. Because I realize as I am making this tier list, I am much more gentle with season 4 and 5 than what I was with season 1 and 2. So once I'm done rewatching the entire show, I think I will rearrange a few things in my tier list, because season 5 is really bad. It's many steps down. Lies, trust issues are back. Reverse Flash is not as good as what he was in season 1. Even the only episode in season 2 he had was much better than what we got so far with Reverse Flash in the 5th season. Now, I'm waiting to see episode 19. I think, based on the title, episode 19 will be filler. Now, if I remember correctly, episode 20 is godly awful. It's the episode where Nora is back in present day and she works with the villain because the plot needs her to be with the villains. Maybe it's episode 19, I can't remember. But the ending of this season is really bad. So far, the only episode I could really defend and understand why people could enjoy it is the episode number 12. Even there, it's not as good as what we had in season 1 and 2. I'd say it's around season 3, a bit worse actually. The tone is better than season 3. Season 3 had a tone issue, but season 5 has a pacing issue. It's not as creative. They just stretch everything too far and too long. Season 5 could have been 8 episodes. What we got after episode 8 was extended so much that it's not good. Season 5 could have been several story arcs instead of one that never ends, because that's what's going on. The plot never ends because they have 22 episodes that season and they really want to use all these 22 episodes in one storyline with Sigada and Nora. It's really bad. The sole fact that Nora took 18 episodes to go back where she belongs is wrong. She created her own flashpoint. She erased herself at the end. I remember this. And if she erased herself, Team Flash and the others should not remember her. But here's the thing. You create a new conflict where you create a case where your season never happened. But you have some kind of paradox there, because it doesn't make sense for the cast to remember Nora because she erased herself from existence. But then If the cast forgets about her, well, it's like watching a filler season. So you have an issue in both cases. This is why this season is so bad. This season used parts of season 3 aspect, but they made it worse because the writers are not as good. It feels like every year's the writers are getting worse. And I take a look to the tier list right now. There are 3 episodes in the F tier, the last tier in the bottom. These 3 episodes I skipped them, and I think a fourth one will end up there. Maybe a fifth one. I don't know, but it's rock bottom. Now, these episodes in F tier, they are a bit better than Duets, and a bit better than the episode where Barry loses memory in season 3. This episode were really bad. But here again, Girls Nights Out, godly awful. This is rock bottom of the show, and this was season 4. Run, Iris, Run, another really bad episode. Here again, season 4. So even if I say season 4 was a bit better, it's not really a compliment because season 4 adds some of the worst episodes we got so far in the show. And the same goes for season 5. Season 5 has its share of really bad episodes. But here's the thing. I will get behind one thing with season 5. I think season 5 is very consistent. It's not great, it's not awful, it's just average the entire time. It's the overall story the issue with season 5. I feel like I repeat myself. Season 3 had pacing issues. Actually, season 3 had a lot of boring episodes as well. It's not really critical to say it's boring, but it's placed the way it is. The pacing of season 3 was terrible, and the pacing in season 5 is also terrible, but at least, even with a bad pacing, they entertained me. So, season 5 does the overall storyline of the season worse than season 3, but the individual episodes are actually more entertaining. So I don't know how I will rate this season, to be honest. This season is a weird one. It's not a good season. But saying it's the worst thing I've seen, it's wrong. The worst thing I've seen was Arrow season 4 or Legends of Tomorrow season 4, 5, 6, 7. These are terrible. They are awful. She-Hulk is another level bad. So the Flash 5th season is out there. It's not the worst thing. It's not the best thing. It's not. So right now I am 18 episodes in, and it was kind of hard to watch at some point, sometimes. But yeah, cannot wait to record more and talk more about that season. As I am recording this segment, I have just seen the first 4 minutes of episode 19 of The Flash 5th season, and now I feel like it's the right time to explain my ranking system. Each episode starts off in S+, and when I get issues, I knock off points, so it goes down the ladder. And now for the first time, one quite long scene actually bumped down an episode 2 tier below. So it went from S+ to A+ at the top. And we are 4 minutes into that episode. I don't even remember the rest of the episode. That episode is godly awful at the start of it. And I think I was gentle to only knock it off from 2 tier. Because Iris What? Why? 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 They did what I call character assassination. And it's not looking good at all. It's actually really ugly. Barry is freaking right the entire argument they have. Now, if you have good writer, you can frame both sides of an argument so it works. Good writing with argument comes with character making sense on why they are on opposite sides. Here, Iris' side is Barry, you're selfish. And here, Barry's side is Iris, I did this to protect everyone. And guess what? He is freaking right. The sole fact that Ilbarton killed Barry's mother is a sign that he is a liar, someone that can also manipulate people. I mean, he is dangerous, and the sole fact that Nora has been working with him tells how dangerous it can be. Furthermore, Nora lied to them for months. So you see where I am getting at. Barry even pointed himself out to Iris. You are the selfish one. And he's freaking right. And there's nothing you can do or say in defense of Iris. If you do defend Iris, you are also selfish and you don't understand what was the point of that scene. Is it good writing? No, it's actually godly awful. It's just drama for the sake of drama. It's just filling time for the sake of filling time. 4 minutes. It's A+. Okay. But, trust me, once I'm done rewatching the entire show, I will play around with these episodes I placed. Because a lot of season 5 episodes are kinda high, even if the overall season is really bad so far. The same goes for season 4. Season 3 as well. The more I think about it, the more I feel like I was too harsh in the first 2 seasons. The first 2 seasons were my favorite ones, and yet I was really harsh on them. And season 3, 4, and 5, I'm too gentle. I don't really like these 3 seasons, but I still try my best to defend these, and season 5 is rock bottom for this show so far. Now, I will record after watching episode 19. I will also maybe showcase how the tier list looks after watching this episode, but it will change. A lot of episodes from season 4 moved around and were drawn down. They were brought down to lower tier, and this will change as well. The only consistent thing is season 1 and season 2 are the only 2 seasons where I didn't move the episode that much around. Just a little bit. Some episode lost point and went down a little bit, but man, what happened to the Flash? I guess they hired the wrong staff. That's the only explanation I got. And it's weird because I think Todd Elbing was involved in the first 2 seasons, and he is also involved in season 5. So what happened, Todd? What happened? Was it your show when you first started? Is it your show when you ended? Because I think this was the last season for Todd Elbing, because I do know Eric Wallace took over for season 6, 7, 8, 9. And now this is so funny. I just clicked play, and the scene following the one scene I really hated at the start of the episode is another scene that bothers me, and here's the why. Reverse Flash, her working with him and talking to him, is a point of contention. It's one of the reasons why Barry doesn't trust her. But yet, she goes back at him and she explains to him what happened and what's going on. She is blaming herself. Yes, you should. But here's the issue. It's stupid. She thinks she learned something. But did she learn something? If she really learned something, do you think she would go back at the person that created that issue at the first place? No! Someone that learned doesn't go back. Now, I understand you could be like, but she needs someone to talk to because this is a TV show. Here's one thing. The Flash, as a TV show, has a lot of funny stuff. And sometimes you can consider some of the dialogue being fourth wall break. What if you give a scene where Nora is doing a fourth wall break to explain how she feels, because they really want us, viewer, to know how she feels and how she blames herself. The sole fact that she's speaking with a villain, she was warned about that villain, by the way, shows that she didn't learn a thing. She's not worthy of Barry's trust, because once she's sent back there, she does the same thing. Nora is the focus of this season, and she is a godly awful character. Iris is even worse, and she get a lot of screen time. I think just because Nora just cannot learn a thing, and she's depicted in many places as someone smart, but she's also depicted like a teenager at other places, while she's a 30 years old character with a 30 years old actress. So the way they portray that character makes no sense, because sometimes she's really smart, and other times she does stupid stuff like any teenager would. What is this character? Who is your target audience? In season 1 and 2, you could tell it's young adult. Season 3, maybe young adult / teenager, but here I feel like they wanted fresh blood as their audience. I feel like the target audience are teenager because they can turn off their brain and just watch and enjoy the trip. Even if it's a really bad trip, teenager can fully do that. They turn off their brain and they just watch the trip. I cannot do that anymore. Season 5 is a mess. I clicked pause again. You know why? We are 5 minutes in. So within a minute, I found so many issues with the entire exchange between Nora and Reverse Flash. And guess what? She went back at him because she wanted to go back in the past again, because she didn't learn that you do not time travel. You freaking break the timeline. You make your own flashpoint if you time travel. She doesn't learn. It's frustrating when I see that. Just because of that scene, I think I will knock off that episode to a B right now. And we are 5 minutes in. I think at that point I should just skip that episode because it's not a good start. I'm frustrated at a TV show that is written by people, I guess. I don't want to be too mean here. I'm rolling my eyes. I have anger toward the writer right now. I am roughly 8 minutes in, right after the credit. There's another scene where Team Flash learn about Nora leaving. And now my anger is Barry being pissed, upset at Sherlock because Sherlock did investigate Nora. Are you kidding me? He was raising the alarm. He did that to help out the team. And now he's somewhat kicked out of it? Excuse me? You should be grateful toward the one that wanted your best interest. Yes, it created drama. Yes, it created issues. But Sherlock don't deserve such treatment. He did what he thought was right. But this is The Flash, and we are in season 5. These writers, they don't know how to make good characters. Everyone needs to be sad, moody at that point in the show because it wasn't dark enough before that. The tone was too light. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I took out points here again. Right now it stands at the middle of B. And the episode is not over, so it can only get worse. Because once I take out points, they don't come back. Even if you do great after that, you will be a B. I will repeat myself once I'm done rewatching the entire show. I will move around episode for sure. Because some episodes are too high. So right now it's a B. And I'm generous, I'm gentle. Because that episode is the worst we had this season so far. Yes, I had issues here and there in every episode. None episode this season were great. The best one is mid for me. I gotta say what I gotta say, you know? This season is really bad. Like mother, like daughter. I am 13 minutes in. I got another issue. It's now a C episode. But guess what? I'm pretty sure I will knock off other points there. Iris keeps secrets! Big surprise! Because this is a lazy way to create tension and drama between characters. You make them lie. You make them making secrets. I'm laughing on how bad this episode is. Among the ones I've seen, it's in the right track to be the worst. I say among the one I've seen because the ones I skipped are clearly worst, and I don't want to ever rewatch the one that I skipped because I've seen them in the past and they were bad, and I know how bad they were. That's why I skip them. But this one, among the one I have rewatched recently, it's in the right track to become one of the worst. It's so bad. Iris as a character is awful. She doesn't even try to understand Barry's point of view. She doesn't try. So, no surprise on how bad Nora becomes in the future. Like mother, like daughter. I think I should pull the plug on that episode and place it already in the E tier or F tier. Maybe the rest will surprise me and I've seen the worst. Well, maybe the rest will impress me. and I've seen the worst, but I think it will only go down after that. Episode 19 is painful. It is. Now I don't understand how people can look in my eyes and tell me they really believe season 5 is good. I could understand you were entertained. Does this mean it's a good season? No. You can be entertained by bad stuff. You don't even need to feel guilty about being entertained by something really bad. However, you can feel guilty to defend something bad. This is something you can blame yourself on all day. I am still into episode 19. Now, it's minute 17 mark. Remember, season 1, 2, and 3. Barry fought people with ice powers. Let me refresh your memory. Captain Cold, Killer Frost. They fought many times. Barry even got burned. He got froze. I also think at some point Tinker controls Caitlyn, and Caitlyn in season 4 blasts Barry with ice. Barry didn't die. His speed healing was always a thing. And in one time, he almost died from a kiss from Killer Frost, but he was able to vibrate his body fast enough so the ice would melt. At no point, ice straight up killed Barry. I don't remember that happening in the first 3 seasons. I know it's one of the few weaknesses he has. But now in season 5, they needed that to happen. And Barry should be much faster than that. I mean, he stopped bullets from guns in season 2. Remember when Snart Father almost killed Barry? I remember. He caught the bullet with his finger and he faked his own death. But yeah! Now, they need to, like, patch up things with Sherlock because they told Sherlock, yeah, get out, you did enough. Being these ungrateful people they are in Team Flash this season. But yeah, because they want to keep Sherlock around until the end of the season, which I'm fine with because Sherlock is a better character than Nora or Iris or even Ralph. I will be honest, I was more entertained by Sherlock. Sherlock is nowhere near as good as Harry, but he is a good Wells. And this season, he proved himself. He did good stuff. And it's also very convenient that the alarm raises before Sherlock actually leave. What if he really left before the alarm? Barry would have died. So not only Barry has plot armor, but him dying makes no sense. He survived to ice before, but here apparently it kills him. But because Sherlock is still around, Sherlock saved the day. I'm fine with him saving the day, but what bothers me is they forget. They make up stuff. Now ice can kill Barry. And I will go further. They only made this scene so Sherlock stick around. So this is not a good reason. This is not. At the first place, Team Flash was wrong to tell him to go elsewhere. They were wrong. But now, because the writer wants to keep him around, they need to put some tension on characters, so Team Flash forgives Sherlock, and Team Flash can move on with Sherlock. Sherlock did nothing wrong! This season is so bad. These writers don't know the difference between good and bad, right and wrong. They don't. Because I'm sure in their mind, when they made Iris the queen drama she is this season, they thought she was right in her own way. She's just different than Barry. I'm rolling my eyes the more I think about this season. This season is really bad. Episode 19 is an abomination. Right now, it's still on the C tier. It's a bit better than some episodes in season 2. It's much better than the one I skipped. But it's still a really bad episode. And it's really, really painful. Remember, in season 4, we had a prison with meta-human. We had a wing just for meta-human. And that wing take away powers. That wing also took away Barry power. But no more! Because in the future, it's no more as secured. In the future, Speedster can just get inside prison wings, speak to one of the inmates, and get out. What am I watching? Now, this was an issue I had in the past episode. I may have forgot to mention that because either I didn't cover individual episode or I just forgot. But each time I see Nora or even Barry interacting with Eobard after speeding through the jail, the prison, I roll my eyes. I'm like they forgot what happened in season 4. Meta should not have any powers in jail. Because if they could, they would just escape. And this issue I know will come later. Because apparently the only thing that stopped Eobard is that freaking dagger. Very secured prisoner here. Hell yeah. Season 5 is back. So right now, this episode is still in C and I'm half done with it. Well, it lost points, so now it's in the bottom part of C. It's about to go down to D now. I will add more to this. Guess what's Caitlyn's father goal as a villain? Having a cool family. He wants a family. Are you kidding me? For real? He's a murderous psycho that killed people and he wants a family. Are you? You must be joking. I don't believe you, writer. That's funny because I've seen that season before. Twice. I've seen it the first time when it aired. And I've seen it a second time, not because I wanted to see it again. I was doing season overviews. This is basically a review of the entire season. And that was also for a past tier list of season of the Arrowverse. I will update that one once we are done with all of the retrospective. But regardless, in the first 2 times, I actually forgot. I zoned out. I forgot that Caitlyn father was a thing in that season, and that Caitlyn mother was a thing in that season. It's not the best subplot. It's not the worst subplot. It's fine because I guess Caitlyn had nothing for her for like 2 seasons now. In season 3, she had a bit of stuff here and there. She actually had a lot, actually. She had that struggle to not become Killer Frost, so she had good material. I'm a bit too harsh on Caitlyn's character. When I think of female character in The Flash, I think of Iris. That's why I may be too harsh with Caitlyn. But anyway, Season 3, Caitlyn had somewhat of a good story. I think peak Caitlyn is Season 2 and 3. They go together because they work well together. Then we had Caitlyn Season 4. She wasn't the worst character around, but she wasn't the best, and she didn't get that much material. So I'm fine with her finding out about her father, finding out about her mother. But there's the thing, the father as a villain is not that great. He's a threat, but he's a brain-dead character. He's not interesting. And we have his goal. That makes him even worse as a villain. That's not the kind of villain you want to see again. It's just not. Sorry, writer, if you thought Caitlyn's father was a good villain, but he is not. I'm laughing at his goal, having a family. It's not a villainous thing to want a family. If you think it's a villainous thing to want a family, you should reconsider your life. I know the mean to get that family is wrong. It's obvious in my eyes. It's wrong that you want to erase Caitlyn for Caitlyn and her mother. It's wrong. That part of it is wrong. But the idea of having a family is good. It's more the me that is wrong. And maybe that's why they think it's a good idea, but it's laughable. Zoom wanted speed, so he was a threat. Eobard wanted speed to go back at his timeline, at his home, so that's fine. Savitar wanted speed to survive, so I guess that's fine. Tinker wanted to change the world, and then you got Caitlyn's father, I want a family. You don't need to be a villain to have a family, bruh. I know you want to force that family, and it's wrong. The mean you have for this goal is wrong. But you're laughable. You're not a villain, bruh. You're a parody. Oh my, oh my. It's official. It's now in the Echo tier, E tier. You know why? Eobard Thawne. He is the good guy. He is the hero. He is much more rational than Iris. I have so much hatred toward the character of Iris. The actress is doing a great job. I won't lie. She's doing a good job. The material she's given is so awful. I am not surprised why she got a different contract with season 6, season 7, and they cut her screen time because she was probably pissed to get that kind of piss poor material for an actor. These scripts, man. Eobard is the good guy, and it's not intended he should be the villain, and the writer wants him to be the villain. But here's the thing, because they frame Iris in such an awful way, and because Eobard is more rational than her, he feels more like the hero. Eobard is the hero because your writer just do bad stuff. Your writing is bad. It's laughable. It's laughable. I'm about to place that episode in the F tier if I keep having issues like that. And I've seen that episode. This will be the only episode I actually place in F tier, and I have seen it again for a third time or more. Like, all of the F tier, I've seen them twice. And 2 times is too many. But, my, oh, episode 19 is piss poor. I think I reached a breaking point with this season. I will still keep watching this godly awful show, but I understand why people tapped out. I understand why nobody is speaking about The Flash anymore in a gentle way where they like the show. It's sad. I missed you, season 1 and 2. It's official. This episode is now a failure. F tier. Writer, let me ask you a question. How the F she kinda knew where the Frost family was? How? I will go further with this. She arrived almost at the same time as the Flash. Does she have super speed? I'm really wondering. Not only she was faster than the Flash to find Caitlin and the others, but she arrived faster than, well, not faster, a bit slower, just a little bit. That place looked isolated. It looks far away from everything. So explain to me, writer, how the F Shikara knew where to go, where to find freaking Killer Frost. I'm losing brain cell as I am watching this abomination of an episode. I actually currently place this episode worse than all of these episodes I have not seen. My, this episode is so bad. It's like rock bottom The Flash. Rock bottom CW. It's beyond my understanding if you're one of these people that defend season 5. I don't understand you. I just don't. Wait. Shikara could have killed every single enemy she had. They were down. But she get that sphere she wanted and she leaves. She is a murderous psycho. What's that if it's not plot armor? Oh, she got what she wanted. She can leave. She hates metahuman. She hates them. She murdered them. She got Caitlin. She got the Flash. They are both down. And they live another day. I think this episode is actually worse than Girls' Nights Out. Girls' Nights Out is a really bad episode. It's an abomination. It should not be part of the show. I am pretty sure a lot of people tapped out of the show because of that episode, but I think it's official. Episode 19 of the 5th season is awful. I lost even more brain cell. The ending episode chat. The chat at the very end between Iris and Barry. Barry is telling Iris he is sorry for what he did with Nora. Are you kidding me? He was freaking right to do such action. He cannot trust her. He sent her back to her time period. He sent her back at her home where she belongs. And he's telling, I'm sorry I did that. I am losing my mind over this episode. This season is godly awful. I repeat myself, this is a bad episode. It's rock bottom. I think I'd rather watch Girls' Nights Out over this headache. Or maybe not. Actually, no. They are both as bad? That sounds better. I am done watching episode number 21, and guess what? I realized two things. The first one, Iris had no material the entire season. She was just an extension to Barry, and she was just the angry wife that will enjoy arguing and making verbal fights with Barry when she disagree. Outside of that, she's not needed. She shared so many scenes with Barry where she wasn't needed, and she was around just because that's Nora's mother, I guess. Oh my, oh my. Second thing I realized, the plot of episode 21 is retarded. I said it. It was a really stupid plan. They basically tell every metahuman, go at CCPD. You will get a cure. Guess what? Shikada only needs to go there and she will enjoy her killing spree. Oh my, oh my. What did you do, writers? You didn't thought through this one. There's also a living paradox. Like, the reason Shikada hates metahuman, it's first of all her uncle, and second, it's because she's surrounded by them and she ate them. But if they kill them all, why it would not erase her as well? And if she is erased, who will kill them all? We end up in another paradox there. It makes no sense. I hate time travel when it's made by stupid writers. And this is the case with this season. Here again, Iris and Starlab. Hell yeah! More of that, more of that. I cannot wait for her to start her reporter stuff instead of leading Team Flash, you know? She doesn't belong in Starlab. Season 5 is bad. Now, I have one last episode to watch. It will be painful. By the way, I did skip episode number 20 because that was another filler where Nora go rogue and she teams up with other rogues, but at the end she realized, oh, I'm not a bad person, I'm a good person, so I will help my father to stop them. And guess what? In episode 21, everything is fixed with Barry again. So not only she got a second chance, but she got a third chance in the span of a few days or hours. The writing. Season 5, bad. I am wondering why everyone need to do pep talk to everyone. Pep talk was always a thing with the Flash, and Joe gave so many pep talk in the past, even in the season I liked. But here it feels like characters are in scenes just to give some pep talk. And guess what? This week we got a Cecile pep talk. She's like, you did help Team Flash, everyone. You're full of resources. Now, I do enjoy seeing Joe having somewhat of a struggle because now he's active captain while Singh is gone. But here's the thing. He is old. He is like in his 50s, we can assume. Maybe his late 50s. Maybe early 60s. I don't know. But he looks like a rookie when it comes to be a leader, and I never had that kind of vibe coming from Joe West, because Joe West was always a very smart person. He's not book smart, but he has wisdom. And it feels like he lost all of that wisdom the moment he became captain. It feels a bit off for me. I like the fact that he's captain, but I feel like it's poorly executed. He should not struggle at all. Anyway, Season 5, bad. I will repeat myself. Oh yeah, and episode 19 is just under Duet. It's kind of bad, right? Episode 19 was godly awful. Episode 22 of the 5th season of The Flash. Nora disappeared, but not the recording she did. Try to find the logic. You won't find it. It doesn't exist. Timeline is messed up with this 5th season. I will admit it, this was my favorite episode the entire season, but the bar was very low. Very, very low. Now, with that being said, I had a few issues here and there, like Nora and Barry falling from a building and surviving. Plot armor. Or time travel messy thing happening when Nora vanished, but not the recording. Third thing. Third. Nora was about to vanish, and Barry and Nora started running toward the negative speed force. Reverse Flash is a villain, right? He could have killed the entire Team Flash. Why didn't he do it? Because plot armor. He just left them do their stuff, and that's it. Barry and Nora were occupied running into the negative speed force. Don't tell me Team Flash could have stopped him. But hey, this is the Flash, and Team Flash is the Flash. Season 5 is bad. Really bad. I was entertained, I won't lie. But I skipped 4 episodes, and I hated the guts out of a 5th one. This season was painful. I think this most recent watch told me this is a really bad season. This is the worst season. When I use a very critical approach to reviewing this season, I think 4.5 out of 10 is deserved. And I think I am being gentle there. I know there are worse things out there. At least I wasn't bored. I was entertained. But this season, oh my, this season. Bad pacing. Bad writing of character. They did character assassination. Cisco, Iris. Even Barry, because Barry forgot about Flashpoint. Nora was a terrible main character for this season. Cicada at first came across as really good, but became worse and worse until Cicada took over, and Cicada is just a worse version of Cicada. Sherlock has a good closure. I did like Sherlock. Great Harrison Wells there. This season is bad. Ralph Dibny is actually a great character. He is much better than what he was in season 4. He is smart. Figure out stuff. Iris being team leader of Team Flash, spending half of her time sharing screen with Barry just because they are a couple. She is not a character of her own. She is just Team Flash leader, even if she should not be there. Wally, he was there in the first episode, and then poof, he vanished. I guess they didn't know how to deal with Tree Speedster in the show. Cecile, fine character, I guess. I actually missed the days where she was just a recurring guest, having a few appearances here and there. This season was a mistake. It was bad. 4.5 out of 10. And I feel generous. I feel gentle. It was bad. Really bad. That was my retrospective. The downfall is the day the show became bad. The downfall is the day where a lot of viewers just stopped watching. It's the day they decided, you know what? The Flash is not good anymore, and we don't really know what is the target audience. Keep in mind, Season 4 had a lot of failed attempts to be funny. Season 5 tried really hard to do a return to form, but they kind of failed because that wasn't a good season at all. And as someone that has seen all 9 seasons, I can say this was the lowest point of the show, with Season 9 not that far behind. Anyway, what are your thoughts? In case you want to see more content like this, go in the description of this video. You will find a lot of link for a lot of videos I did, the podcast, everything. Anyway, I hope everyone enjoyed. Do all of the YouTube stuff. Like, comment, and subscribe. We will see each other next week on the podcast if you want to join us. Anyway, have a good one and take care.